Welcome to Sewing with Stacy. Today I'm going to show you 3 hand stitching techniques that are just as professional looking as any sewing machine. So I'm going to show you how to do a running stitch, a saddle stitch, and a back stitch. So grab your needle, thread, and some fabric while I grab my cardboard and yarn needle and yarn so that you can better see what we're doing, and we'll dive right in. First, I'm going to start out with a running stitch. It's your most basic straight stitch. So to start, we're going to thread up our needle, and you want to give yourself plenty of thread. Clip that off, and normally I would tell you, you need to knot your thread at least 2 times. I usually do a triple knot. That gives you enough resistance between the thread and the fabric. Now this looks excessive because it's yarn, but remember, you guys are going to use thread. If you want an even stronger stitch, you can double up your thread or quadruple it if you're doing something like buttons. But for this, we're going to start, I'm going to call this my front, and this is my back. You're always going to start from the back so that your knot stays to the back of your project. So you've made your first stitch. I've pre-punched my holes. Again, you're just going to have your fabric, but you've come up and down. Now, from the wrong side of your fabric, you're going to come back up again, and you're going to try to keep it evenly spaced. If you're not that confident in your spacing by eye, grab yourself a ruler and make small dot marks for you to line up your stitches. You're basically just going back and forth, up and down, through your fabric. You may not even have to flip your project over. You can just find your spacing and push on. And now here I would stop because even though I have one more hole, I want to finish with my thread on the wrong side so I can again tie this off and it will be on the wrong side of the fabric. You don't want to knot on the front side, so you want to leave it on the back side. And that's your running stitch. If you want to, you can go back up through and fill in those gaps. That's called a saddle stitch. I'll show you what that looks like. You're basically just tracing over all of the gaps that you have left. And then again, make sure that when you finish, you are to the wrong side of your fabric or project so that you can tie this off and the knot is on the wrong side. So you have a running stitch and a saddle stitch, and now I'm going to take this out and show you a back stitch. If you're trying to teach kids how to hand sew, this model that I've set up here is a really great stress-free way for them to handle a hand needle. By giving them cardboard, yarn, and a yarn needle, there's very little chance of them doing any damage to themselves, but it lets them practice their fine motor skills so that they can eventually move up to a real needle and thread. Alright, so now that we've reset, I'm going to show you our third and final stitch for today. Grab your project, your needle and thread, and knot off the end 3 times. Go to the back of your project, and you're actually going to start, if you've marked your notches out, you're going to start in the second hole or a slightly down from where you really want to start your stitch. Pull all the way through. And now you're gonna go up. Now go to the back, and you're gonna go to your third position. And again, you go up. You can very easily see how this kind of looks like the saddle stitch, but it's crossing on itself in the back instead of being interwoven. So on the back side, you're going ahead of where you last stitched, and on the front, you're going back. Unlike the saddle stitch, a back stitch, the stitches look different from your right side of your fabric to the wrong side. And a back stitch, they overlap one another. A back stitch can be used anywhere that a running stitch can be used. It just increases the strength of your straight stitching. And again, whenever you get to the end of where your project is, make sure you end to the back, and then you will tie this off just like you would any other project. Again, I would recommend a triple knot for regular thread. So there you have it, your back stitch and how straight it looks on the front. A running stitch, you would see gaps, and a saddle stitch would look like this on both the front and the back, commonly used in leather work. One of the easiest ways to just tie off your thread, if you have enough here, you can just hold in your left, under with your right, put your finger on it to hold it tight, and then that keeps it together. And usually with normal thread on regular textiles, a triple knot will prevent from going through a woven textile. That's it. Now you know how to sew just like your sewing machine, beautifully, professionally, and anywhere on the go. So if you found this video helpful, drop it in the comments below. Or if you still have questions, leave that for me too, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Don't forget to check out some of my favorite fabrics over on Etsy. The link is in the description. And make sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Until next time, sewing friends, I'm Stacy, and this has been Sewing with Stacy. I'll see you between the seams.